Hey, this is Eric, and I was just going to do a quick overview of cleaning the camera glass in the Model 3. I've noticed recently that my window has been really fogged up on the inside, and my auto wipers have been all messed up, so I'm thinking that the camera glass might be to blame for that. So I'll show you something. The window fogs up extra easily when it's dirty, and you'll see just there's like this residue that looks like this every morning. When the sun hits it, it won't ever go away. I'm just using the fog to demonstrate it. So to clean the camera glass, we're gonna have to take this cover off, and that means freeing this plastic piece, the mirror, dropping that down, and then prying this off, and then removing the camera housing. So I was able to get the cover here off. Let me see if the light will help. So to get this cover off, it's very tight. I was able to first pry the front of this down like this, and then stick a screwdriver, a small screwdriver up in here, and then just pry on the back side of that like that. And then I should be able to do the same thing on the other side and slide this cover off. And hopefully not damage anything like, oh good, that's just a connector there. It's nothing critical, I could replace that with a zip tie. And then this, you can pop down on the headliner a little bit to get some extra clearance. And then this should pull down this way, but I might have to release something here first. I think the mirror, if I turn the mirror, let me make sure mine is a turnstile one. Some have screws, some turn off. I think I just need to turn it like that, and then the whole thing drops down. It's on a simple twist connector. Let me see if I can focus the camera there. You know, there's a flange there that holds it like that. And then now this should pop off this way. I think I just lost one of the clips though. We'll be searching for that later. There's little metal clips that go right here, and they popped off and went flying in the car somewhere. You know, real shops that work on these have a bunch of spares. That's the problem with me. I'll probably have to go find it. So let me pause it for a minute. With the cover off, there's 2 Torx screws holding it on. I think they're Torx T10, I believe. It's a smaller one. With the 2 Torx screws removed, this cover will just drop down and pull out like that. And now you have access to clean the window. Be careful not to damage this. This is felt covered, so anything there could cause reflections on the cameras. So we'll clean that. Also, you'll want to be careful of the camera modules themselves. When you're at it, you might use a lens cleaner to clean those too. So I'll use my favorite spray cleaner, which is this stuff. Spray away glass cleaner. This is a foaming one. I like that this cleans really well and doesn't leave a residue, and a lot easier than Windex or something. Windex leaves a residue if you don't use microfibers to wipe it clean. Okay, I have the dashboard protected with a towel so I don't get water or like the cleaner on the speakers or anything. And I'm also going to clean up in here. So to use this spraying cleaner, I just spray it on there like that, and then wipe it off with a towel, microfiber. And that'll do a great job of getting that window clean. And for the camera modules, I'm just going to spray it a little bit here, and then I'm just going to use the rag to wipe each lens. And I'll check them from the outside to make sure I didn't leave any lint or debris on them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and set down the camera. Checking the camera modules. Okay, to put this thing back together, there's a little notch in this tab here that needs to align on both sides. Once you get it aligned, the thing will rotate up like that. And now I need to screw both screws in. Finish tightening those screws. And don't like over tighten them, just until they're tight a little bit more. Return any metal clips you might have lost in the process. There's a kind of a little hooked tooth in there that you might have to push to one side to get that to go on. And once that's on, it's probably going to be hard to get off. So, and I'm missing one more, so I will find that one. Oh, look here. It's still stuck in the clips there. I'll show you the clips so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like I said, you release these front two first by pulling down on this, and then release the back two by pulling out on the headliner a little bit, and then pulling down, and then this tucks under the headliner, that lip does. So I'm gonna take that out and put it back on. I put it on the wrong side. It'll interfere with my other clip there, so. All right. So with all the clips back on, you can double check them here. There should be 1, 2, 3, and 4. With all those back on, you should be able to make sure all your wiring and mirror harness is through the slot. Make sure you do that first. And then this tucks up behind the headliner. And let me do that. I'll set the phone down to do that. Okay, that's tucked up underneath the headliner there. You'll want to make sure these are lined up and then just push them in. And it should snap pretty clearly like that. And once you have that back in place, before you forget, push the headliner up. Mine already went back into position, but if I pulled it down, you might see it hanging in front of the camera. And that's in there nicely. And next up is you'll want to attach the mirror. And again, just to show this mirror shot here, there's those 3 flanges on the mirror which line up with the 3 flanges like sticking out of this triangular post. Again, this is different on some models. This is the Model 3, so the Model 3s from up until early 2020s at least have this. Mine's a 2019, and it has the dimming mirror. So I will go ahead and put that on, turn it at like a 60-degree angle roughly until it goes into position, and then once you get it into position, you're going to need to rotate it. And it might be easier to do this with the wrench. So I'm going to set the camera down again. And I kind of set it into position. And then I'm going to show you how I put the wrench on it. I'm going to get the wrench right there, make sure you're not pinching anything. And then it just rotates there. I need to tighten it up a little bit. Rotates cleanly like that. Leave your protective towel in place when you're doing this stuff. I would even suggest covering more of the screen. And then once that's back up, tuck the wire back in there. And then notice the snaps on here are on, there's 4 of them, and there's 1 on each side and 1 on the 2 on the back. So I would suggest sticking the back in first and then just pushing it up like that. And I should look around and make sure everything snaps in. And actually, I say that there's a flange in the back here, so you're going to have to do it the opposite of what I just said. You're going to have to stick that end in first like that. And I had to use both thumbs and push up on either side like that pretty hard. But again, make sure you have that wiring harness out of the way. I had a little trouble at first because that was in the way. And then you should be good to go. You will have certainly messed up your mirror in this time, so I suggest, giving it a little spritz, and go ahead and wipe up the mirror and the camera up there, and make sure everything is nice and clean. And there we are. Now the next trick is to make sure my auto wipers work, because the reason I did this is every time I was driving at night, my auto wipers would trigger whenever there was overhead lights. That's a good sign that there's glare hitting your camera. So I'm gonna hope that they work. They're in auto right now, but they won't run when the car is in park. So I will try them tomorrow. So thanks. Yeah, I've noticed with the Tesla that I've had to clean the windshield like all the time. So at least initially, when I first bought the car was almost undrivable at night because of a haze that had built up on the inside of the window glass. That comes from outgassing from the plastics, or just various debris ending up there and becoming stuck. So it's good to clean it, at least initially. I had to do it in the first month, then I had to do it 6 months after that. So I'm just assuming that the same residue has built up under that plastic cover and is blocking the autopilot cameras, and the auto wipers are driven by that. So I'm thinking it's causing some extra glare, especially at night, and causing the wipers to run unnecessarily. So I hope this fixes the horrible auto wipers. That's a whole nother topic. So if this helps a little bit, then great. And if not, well, I got my window cleaned anyway, which I've been meaning to do for the last couple months. So thanks. Like and subscribe.